Hi everybody, this is Cheryl with our Tipsy Tuesday, and this is the last part I'm going to do on vinegar. This is health and beauty. Um, there are a lot of different uses for vinegar, so many so that I'm not even going to touch everything that it can be used for. But I did want to put in health and beauty. And so I'm going to give you my tips real quick. First one is for the mouth. You can mix equal parts of water and vinegar and use it as a mouthwash. Just gargle like you would for mouthwash. It'll also brighten dentures by soaking your dentures overnight in pure vinegar. There's a trick of removing onion odor from your hands. You know, like when you chop up an onion, your hands all stinky like onion. Just sprinkle a little bit of salt on your hands and dampen it a little bit with vinegar and rub them together like you're washing your hands. Get it all good and clean and rubbed up, and then rinse your hands off, and it'll get rid of that onion odor off of your hand after you've chopped a lot of onions. For itchy skin or aching muscles, and this is something my grandma used to do when I was growing up, after we'd go out blackberry picking, and we'd come home, and she'd always have us take a bath. We actually had 2 baths. The first one we took with a little bit of, just a tiny little bit of bleach in some bleach water. We'd wash off real good to kill any chiggers or anything like that we'd got. And then she'd drain the tub, and she would put in 8 ounces of vinegar with a warm bath, and then we'd just sit there and, you know, kind of relax for at least 15 minutes in the soak in that warm vinegar bath water, and that would get rid of any itchy feelings that we had, you know, from getting bug bites or whatever, and it would also relieve aching muscles, excuse me, you know, from being out blackberry picking. Something else my grandma always used to do was she'd treat sunburns and minor burns with vinegar. Now, there's 2 ways of doing this. You can mix you a bottle of vinegar and water, equal parts, and just spray it onto the sunburn, and it kind of cools it down, keeps it from, you know, how sunburns hurt. That'll kind of keep the pain down. Or you can soak a cloth in vinegar and just lay it over your sunburn and let it cool. Now you can also use this, like if you burn your hand, excuse me, if you're cooking and you burn your hand, you can also lay a rag or a gauze or something with soaked in half and half water and vinegar, and let that that'll take the burn out of it. However, don't ever use this on burns where the skin is broken, like if your skin has blistered up, or if you know, if the skin breaks when it's burnt. If it's burnt that bad, don't do this. You need to get some further treatment. But for sunburns and minor burns, that's a good way to relieve the burn pain. Also for bug bites and bee stings, you can make a paste of cornstarch and vinegar, excuse me, goodness, and just apply that paste onto wherever the sting or bite is. Let it dry. Make sure it stays on there till it's good and dry, and that will help relieve the pain and itch from the bug bite or bee sting. There's a whole lot of other uses for it. I was going to talk about hair care, but instead I'm going to send you to another channel. I found a video by Palmetto Prepared. And he actually done a video on uses of vinegar. And I'm going to put a link to that video in my description box so you can go watch that, because he actually does give a lot of hints for that I could give. But I'm going to let you watch his video about hair care, about cleaning other things with vinegar, a lot of benefits for health and that kind of thing. So I'm going to let you watch that video. So go down in my description box. I might put it in the comments. And click on that video and go watch his video, because it's a very good video. I enjoyed it very, very much. So check out that video. One other thing I'm going to tell you about is, and this is something we do with our dogs, after you have given your dogs a bath, sometimes the shampoo that you wash your dog with or will make them itchy, and so what you can do is mix a half a cup of vinegar into a gallon of water and just kind of let your dog soak in that for, if you can, for at least 10 minutes. Let them soak in it, and then make sure you rinse it off really, really well. But you want to make sure they don't get it in their eyes. You don't want them swimming in it or nothing like that. But, just kind of soak them in that vinegar water, and that will relieve the itch, especially in summertime if they have itchy skin from fleas or just being out and playing outside. It will help relieve the itchiness, and it also makes their coat shinier. And you can also, if your dog happens to get sprayed by a skunk, it'll also help clear up that stink. But that's just some of the things that I use vinegar for. I mean, there's just so many uses for vinegar. There are way too many for me to go into. So, you can Google it, and I'll promise you're going to find a lot more tips. Now, I did have one thing I want to address. In one of my videos, it might have been the first one, it was when I was talking about mixing your vinegar and the baking soda to clean pans with. And I was asked about the chemical reaction you get. Yes, you're going to get a chemical reaction when you mix those together. All you have to do is let it sit there and work through that chemical reaction. It'll stop. It won't take very long, a few seconds. And when that chemical reaction stops, then you can just let it sit and, soak. But when you're cleaning your pans and stuff, I think it was the first episode I did that. I was talking about mixing baking soda and vinegar. But I wanted to clarify that, yes, when you mix baking soda and vinegar, you are going to get a foaming action. Just let it die down, it'll be fine. So, okay, well, that's it for this week. And I will talk to you all later. You all have a nice day. Bye.